or as close to the scene of the crash in Calabasas as possible. Tim Lynn is on the phone right now. He is. We'll try to get him back on the phone in just a few minutes from now.
But we understand that he was
having the cold,
in the helicopter command
some of the
center.
air
Monitor.
Gotta go out of port, you know what I mean?
That he was
On the
hearing
screen.
a call between the pilot or some sort of communication. So when we can get him, we'll ask him what he was able to hear.
Yeah.
Man,
Talk a
cold.
little bit about what it was about Kobe that brings so many people out today. We talking with Corrine earlier, and there was a gentleman from Venice Beach who just decided he had to come out there and go to the scene right now. Darren, you were speaking before about when Chip Hearn died, that he was at the hospital and suddenly people started coming out of nowhere, just gathering to mourn together.
Yeah, it is so beautiful to come together with people of like mind and have this passion for this team that's brought so much joy to this city. And I remember being relatively new to Los Angeles when the great Chick Hearn.
All of us know people that
was
raised on
doing a
Kobe,
lot of
man.
outside the hospital.
Playing like that, like you said, you know what I'm saying?
I was surrounded
Role
by
model.
fans who just wanted to
Through the
come
wire,
and
man.
respect the march and they wanted to be close to Chick, you know, and I think this is similar. People, they have so much love for Kobe Bryant, all that he did for this city, and this was our guy. People were very protective of Kobe's legacy. Remember when LeBron signed that night, there were some people that were very eager to say, "Hey, Kobe's the guy around here. We're happy to have you." And there was a little controversy, and obviously everybody's happy with LeBron, but people, Kobe Bryant has a special place in the heart of Los Angeles because he is.
He only played with one team.
Only played with one
20
team.
years.
He was our guy.
Well, I think we've all witnessed his growing up. From the time he comes at 18, of course, he had his problems. There was the problems with the trial in Colorado. He tore the Achilles tendon, and in his last few years, he just wasn't looking like the guy that he used to be. But everybody, I think, feels that they have a stake in what they watched for 20 years, and now suddenly he's gone, and everybody has to deal with the memories that each one has in their own mind of what part of their life that they can kind of show that he was influential in doing something for them. Right?
You know, Shaquille O'Neal's son, Sharif O'Neal, he put out that, tweeted that this morning, Kobe Bryant reached out to him. He announced earlier this week he's actually transferring from UCLA. He's going to leave UCLA. And this morning at 8:19, Kobe reached out to him, said, "You good, fam?" As in family. Said, "Yeah, just getting this work and trying to figure out my next move. You know, how you been?" So they were apparently going to get together, and this was 2 hours before the crash. He was in communication about Shaquille O'Neal's with Shaquille O'Neal's son about what's going on with him and his basketball career, and what he's going to do after he leaves UCLA, and he's looking out to counsel somebody who he considered like a nephew.
Which is, I think, is typical. Darren, you were mentioning it before, that this was a guy.
Even through, you know what I'm saying, what they went through, it's still family. Like, Jit reaching out to him, like, what's up, you know what I mean? Or he reaching out to Jit. Like, what's up, man?
He was one of the great mentors in the NBA today.
Wow.
Guys like Russell Westbrook, and he used to work out with Sharif when he was younger. He would invite guys to come down, and they would get started like at 4 and 5 in the morning, and he put them through the Mamba workout. He opened the Mamba Academy, and Westbrook would even go.
You hear that?
Train. This is
Yeah, boy, do it, man. Just doing it, man. Can't take nothing from him, boy.
So many ways.
Can't take nothing from Jit, for real.
Did he also have mentors? Because, I mean, there was a lot of jealousy about him going to the NBA so young. So did he have the same people looking out for him as he has now given back to others?
Well, his dad, Jelly Bean, and his mom, Pam, but his dad, who played over in Italy, and that's where he, learned the Italian language. But Jelly Bean, and they used to get tapes from America, Laker tapes, and watch old VCR tapes of Laker games. So the Lakers were kind of kind of Kobe's team even before, like, you know,
He knew he was going.
yeah, exactly.
All right, we have Tim Lynn on the phone with us right now. And Tim, what were you hearing earlier?
Well, they sent me some audio from the air traffic control in the area. You've been speaking about the flying conditions and what the pilot was doing going through there. And after listening to the audio files from air traffic control, just to put a little light on what was going on, is that the aircraft was coming up from John Wayne Airport, making a normal transition, which takes you towards the zoo, which is a lower part, to get around into the valley. And at that point, if you heard them talk about special VFR, and he had requested that from the air traffic controller at Burbank Airport. Now, what special VFR is when the visibility is lower than standard, but you're able to maintain contact with the ground and remain clear of the clouds, they'll allow you to go through and continue on. But if conditions change, then you need to turn around and go back out. But what happened was, as he came up, the controller is only allowed to have one aircraft in his area at any one time. So the pilot of the helicopter had to wait for about 15 minutes by the LA Zoo doing circles waiting to clear the airspace. And then once he got the clearance, that tower controller at Burbank sent him up the 5 and around the north side of Burbank Airport. And then once he got up there, and that was due to the fact that Van Nuys was also in what they call IFR conditions. In other words, the visibility wasn't there to fly visual rules. And they brought him around the north end of Van Nuys and then brought it down towards the Calabasas area on the 101. And that's where he has to go to the SoCal, which is Southern California TRACON down in San Diego, to get on radar with them. But at that point, the controller down in San Diego told him, "I'm sorry, you're too low. We don't see you on radar." And that was the last communications they got from that helicopter. But what he was doing is pretty much standard. They go through it, the weather's down, use special VFR to get through. But as a pilot, you have to fly your aircraft safely. And what happened there is he just got into some weather, it looks like. But the weather was down to a point where it was, very marginal, as we call it, going through. But unfortunately, the outcome is what we had this morning.
So, Tim, are you saying that they were trying to possibly go to Van Nuys and then Burbank, or they were looking at their options for different places to land due to the conditions?
No, they were just transitioning the area. He was going to Camarillo, is where he was supposed to be going, but you have to get permission to go to different airspaces as you go along. And so what happened is he asked permission to transit the Burbank airspace. He got permission to transit through there, and then he asked permission to go through Van Nuys. And the same thing happened there. They had traffic that they had to wait to clear to let him through. So he was doing what we've done many times in Sky 5. So it just unfortunately had an incident at the end.
Yeah. All right, Tim Lynn, we thank you for that call in. We appreciate it. As we all know, Kobe was one of 9 people on this helicopter that crashed in Calabasas just before 10 o'clock this morning. On board with him was his 13-year-old daughter, Gigi. They were heading to the Mamba camp over there in Thousand Oaks, I believe, and they had a game coming up at 2 o'clock, and Kobe was going to coach the team. That's why they were heading up there. We want to go back to Corrine Winter. She's near the scene of the crash, and she's been speaking with some of the kids that were going to be playing on the court with Gigi during that game. Corrine, are you there?
Sit.
Right, they were also headed to that game. I want to bring in Coach and Dad. Let's start with your name.
Jose Miran.
And these are your players.
6th grade Rising Stars players. We're missing a few, but the ones that are here are here.
Played in a different division from Gianna, but nevertheless, they've seen her so many times, and you're still shaking.
It's still a shock. I'm still in shock. I mean, it's being a parent, being a coach, it's just shocking. As soon as we heard the news, we just still in shock.
Games canceled.
All the games, the rest of the games were canceled. The games that were going on were at a standstill when we got to the sports complex. They're one of the main people there would say the word to everybody, and the games were canceled for the rest of the day.
Your daughter's by your side, but these are your girls, and
yeah, they're pretty much my daughters as well. Man, we've been together for the last almost 2 years, so
it's tough.
As a parent, you said you're just struggling with this. I mean, it's so tragic on many different levels, but you said that when you found out about this, it was like a kick to the gut.
Yes, it was. As soon as we heard about it and we were getting some news from town, when we were 3 hours away from here, we were getting text messages and some phone calls. Then once we got closer to the complex, I mean, we confirmed them. And once we were there, yeah, we got more bad news and shocking.
I just want to show hand to your sweatshirt there, Mama Cup Tournament Series. This was something that was so special to Kobe. Tell us about it.
It was, from what I heard, he was really focusing on youth basketball, something he really cared about, had a passion for it, from what I've understood. And it just, I mean, it's something good. I mean, we want these kids playing basketball. And he was, I'm glad he got these tournaments set up because that's the whole reason why we're here. I mean, to compete against some of the best teams that he brought in. These girls want to compete, and he made us better. I'm glad he got these tournaments set up because that's the whole reason why we're here. I mean, to compete against some of the best teams that he brought in. These girls want to compete, and he made us better by setting up these tournaments. We pushed harder. This is our second time here. Hopefully, if it still continues, we'll be back in 3 weeks, and then we'll be back again the following month to finish off the series. And then hopefully it can still continue so we can come back here and play basketball.
We want to talk to your girls and you guys. This is something that is so difficult for adults to deal with. Never mind what you are going through. I can see the tears in your eyes, sweetheart. We're so sorry for everything you guys have had to endure with this, being so close to this. But what are you feeling right now?
I'm sad. I'm really sad. She was someone I would always look up to. And then I found out about this. And it just got me. Yeah.
You guys have been helping each other through it. We've been speaking to a lot of fans out here. They said that's one of the reasons they wanted to come out here, to take it all in. The reality of this, even though it's so sad, and they're comforting each other. What have you guys been to get through this?
Like, it'll be okay. I mean, time's gonna pass. So, I mean, he's a real person to look up to. It's really hard.
And being part of this tournament, how special was that for you? Not only getting to see Kobe, but it brought together so many remarkable teens who got to really showcase their skills on the court, right?
Yeah.
What was the best part of being a part of this whole tournament for you?
Probably as you go by, you're getting better.
They're remarkable. They're holding up so well. What have you been telling them, Dad and Coach?
We pretty much, after we heard the news at the complex, I sat them down and I just told them, just be there for each other. Appreciate life, appreciate your parents, your brothers, your sisters, any little thing. Just appreciate it because you never know when it can be taken away from you. It's a sad tragedy that this happened. So it just makes us open up our eyes and realize family's important. Family comes first. So I just told them, don't never be mad at each other. Don't ever be upset. Just go out there, be there for each other, support each other, and we'll get we'll get through together.
And we'll show you now the hillsides here. It's been the focus all day. A lot of people coming out, just staring, trying to make sense of it all, knowing that this happened just before 10 o'clock today. Kobe's helicopter crashing in those hillsides of Malibu Canyon. 9 people on board, including the pilot, perished. Is it even real to you when you take a look back there now?
No, it's not real. I mean, I'm still feel like I'm just gonna wake up right now and just have it be a dream. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's reality. I mean, it's life, and we just got to deal with it. I mean, help each other out, support each other, and be there for each other. At the end of the day, I'm gonna wake up right now and just have it be a dream. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's reality. I mean, it's life, and we just got to deal with it. I mean, help each other out, support each other, and be there for each other. At the end of the day.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Kobe?
I got to see him coach and play a couple years ago at the All-Star tournament down in LA. My son got to meet him. He got to shake his hand and go up to her and meet him, which is good. Julissa got to take a picture with his wife. So it was a good moment, good memories for him. I've been a fan, Kobe Bryant fan since 1998, since he got into the league. Huge Lakers fan. I mean, it's really tough. It's a really tough moment right now for us.
Phenomenal athlete, but gosh, what a dedicated dad, right there to the end.
Yes, and he inspired us coaches too a lot to be a coach, not only for your own kid, for other kids, because they consider they look at us as a parent too, you know. So at the end of the day, we're going to be here for them. We're going to push them hard. We're going to support them, and we'll get through this together.
You mentioned Kobe's beautiful wife, Vanessa. All of our hearts go out to Vanessa and his daughters who he leaves behind.
I can't imagine what she's going through. Our condolences to the Bryant family. Yeah, it's tough. I can't imagine being in her shoes right now at this moment.
Coach, we thank you so much. Hug your girls. Thank you. Thank you guys for sharing with us. And don't be afraid to hold on to each other. This is tough stuff. Okay? All right. And as we give you a shot of the crowd that continues to gather out here, something else that we learned from that news conference that was held earlier, that firefighters had discovered a quarter-acre brush fire caused by the chopper crash, and they actually had to hike to the accident site with medical equipment, also a hose line. They searched for survivors, of course. Everyone perished.